Welcome to the section of my channel where I present you budget decks. The decks will be playable, somewhat competitive, but don't expect to top any event with them. In this format, the decks will not cost more than 50 to 80 bucks, and I'll really try to stick to it. And today with the promised Harpie deck. So starting out price-wise, the deck will be, it's kind of the opposite of the Mythos deck. The deck will be a lot more expensive. It's somewhere like with the main deck and some of the essential extra deck choices, the deck will be somewhere between 80-90 quid. I think like somewhere between 80-90 bucks probably. Like it shouldn't exceed the 80 too much because I don't know, I don't want to make it too expensive. Plus the deck is, I'll talk about later how good the deck is for the price and so on. It's definitely a deck that you could play as a beginner, but I feel like it's a little bit too expensive as a beginner. I think it's that not that value because it's that good. It's that value because people are probably like hyped about the deck in general, or like, I mean, it's a legacy support deck, so usually they are kind of pricey. Maybe there's some short prints in it, whatever. Like the deck does nothing competitively, but I'll be talking about it. I'm playing one Harpie Lady Sisters. I just feel like you could play two, but I would brick a whole lot, and I don't think it's really necessary. Plus, there's ways for you to recycle the card. So in general, it's best if you play it one. I feel you run double Harpie Queen. You could run triple Harpie Queen and take out one Harpie Dancer if you want to keep the deck actually like cheaper, because the most expensive cards in the deck are mainly Harpie Perfumer, Harpie Channeler, and Harpie Dancer. That's like the main expensive cards. I thought Harpie's the Feather Rest isn't like too cheap either, but in general, like that's the main deck, the expensive main deck cards. You'd assume the trap card would be a little bit more expensive, but it's actually not. But yeah, so if you want to bump down the Dancer, because the Dancer doesn't come up that often anymore. Back in the days, Dancer was a good card with that Mist Valley Field spell, but those days are long over, and with the deck not actually having different kind of plays, there's only like a combo that you can do with Harpist and bounce her back, like bounce Dancer back, summon Harpist, bounce your opponent's monster, and so on. This was a play, but it's not coming up as much anymore. So if you want to run triple Harpie Queen just for keeping the deck a little bit budgetier, then that's your way to go. But you want to make sure you have enough Harpies in the deck, because if you draw no Harpies at your starting hand, then you'll have a problem because you really need a monster in your hand. Triple Harpie Harpist, you can bounce monsters back technically in the later game stages. Woof. And you can search Harpies from your deck, which can be quite neat. Harpie Perfumer, the new searcher of the deck. If you have Harpie Sisters basically on your field, you can search 2 spell trap cards. Sadly, it's only cards, and that's how they kind of nerf the deck, otherwise it would be a little bit stronger, that list Harpie Lady Sisters in its text. So you can't search cards like Hysteric Sign or Harpie's Feather Storm, because it's not like it doesn't count as a Harpie card, but like there is a Harpie card, but you don't have Harpie Lady Sisters in the text, so sadly you can't search this. This would make the deck a lot better if you actually could search the Feather Storm, but I think it would be very abusable. So I'm glad that you can't, but I think it's better that you cannot. Triple Harpie Channeler. Channeler is basically your main playmaker. You can easily go into rank 4s, which you will do a lot. You have a lot of strong rank 4s that you usually only see like in Raid Raptors as well, possibly is Ice Beast Zero Fine, for example, or Lightning Chidori. They can be quite helpful, even though Chidori isn't as good anymore as it was back in the days. I run triple Harpie Oracle just to bump up the Harpie numbers. The card isn't that good. In the end phase, you can add the card bag, which mainly you'll either the Egotist or the Harpie's Feather Roosting bag, so you can like keep on shuffling, keep on drawing, and special something from your deck. I run double Harpie Lady one. First of all, the attack boost can be quite neat sometimes because you don't have massive beat sticks, so it is quite neat. Plus, like some of your link monsters are sometimes wind or like your Xyz monsters, so it can help you get over problematic cards. But the thing is, it's level 4 Harpie, and you can summon it with Elegant Egotist. And if you only run in the deck, that can cause some problems. And I like running Egotist at 3 because you could search it with Hysteric Sign, but I want to use Hysteric Sign with the second effect because that can create stronger plays. One Harpie Dancer, you don't have to, like I already said, swap it out with Harpie Queen to make the deck a little bit cheaper, but otherwise, bounce a card, get a new normal summon. Most monsters trigger on normal summon, or on summon in general, so that could be quite neat. One Harpie's Feather Roosting, you could bump up the card to 2, it's not too bad, but without graveyard setup, the card is basically worthless. You can't plus off of the card. It's technically a Pot of Avarice, but yeah, I don't know, it's not as easy to get off. Plus, you're locked into wind monsters, which isn't really a big deal, but can be annoying sometimes. One Monster Reborn, because I feel like those rank 4 XZ decks always want to have like a card that gets monster back from the graveyard, plus you will have a lot of cards in your graveyard since you have discard effects and so on. Elegant Egotist, basically getting your Harpie Lady Sisters out as quick as possible if you can, for example, use Perfumer's effect. Other than that, very good way to go into rank 4s, for example. I run Triple Designate, Called by the Grave. Wow, just reading off the card effects there. And basically, your whole deck is like basically every card you can Ash Blossom, so being able to dodge that is quite neat. Another card that is, it could be a hand trap if you have more money, or it could be an effect where if you want to buy. Thought Swallow's Nest was a little better, because with Swallow's Nest you can actually trigger it. Either you can trigger it during your opponent's turn, so you get another one of the effects of your Harpies off, or you can use it to actually dodge cards like Impermanence and Effect Veiler, because if your monster's not on the field anymore, they can't target it anymore, and its effects can't be negated. And that is quite neat for cards like Channeler, for example, so at least get the special summon out and maybe get the effect of another monster from your deck. So I really like this card. You could play Barrier Statue as well, one of the wins, but that's up to you, whatever you want to do. Hysteric Sign, you can use it to search Egotist if you don't have a way to pop it this turn, but mainly you want to set it and pop it because you can only use one effect of the card, I think, this turn. So if you search Egotist, you can't use the search effect anymore, and you can add up to 3 Harpie cards with different names from your deck to your hand. This is crazy in my opinion. I feel like it's like one of the best search cards in the game, and you want to make sure you get it through, so Caught by the Grave is always a good option as well. And popping this card is quite neat. Plus, it doesn't have the term that some other new Harpie cards have, that it's either has been popped through your opponent's card effect or through a Harpie card effect. But you can even pop it with Tornado Dragon, just set it, then don't activate it, and it's quite neat with that. Then I run one Alluring Respite because I think the card can be neat, but ramming your monsters into your opponent's monsters it's not always that good. Plus you have enough ways to special summon your monsters, plus it's searchable, so it's quite I think it's okay at 1, but popping it with, like, for example, Hunting Grounds, you can plus off of it, so if you want to bump it up, then do that. I run double Harpie's Hunting Ground, but you can search it with Harpie Queen and basically Perfumer as well, so that's quite neat. I want one card that I feel like is somewhat underrated. It's not the best card in my opinion, but I still think it's a neat card. If the card gets destroyed by your opponent's card effect, for example, then you can add one Harpie monster from your deck to your hand. Can be quite neat. But also, you can shuffle one Harpie Lady Sisters from your monsters in the deck, and then special summon 3 Harpie monsters from your deck, hand, and graveyard. You have to have it. The problem is you have to have one card in your hand, one in your graveyard, one in your deck. But that is mainly the case because you can search with cards like Harpie Harpist in the end phase and so on. So the card actually goes off quite a lot. And then you can, like, generate more advantage during your opponent's turn, build up a low wall, do the Donald Trump. And I like the card at 1 since it's searchable and gives you more options that you can actually search with the Perfumer, so you make her a little bit more viable in the deck. Triple Harpie Featherstorm, it's one of the big playmakers. It's one of the things that would make the deck a little bit more competitive if in general it would not be that lackluster for some kind of card effects, because if you control like a Harpie monster, you can activate it from your hand and your opponent cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn. It's really crazy. I think it stops dangers and all those kind of decks, especially right now where most decks besides like Sky Strikers, for example, have a lot of monsters in comparison. Like they have 30 monsters in a 40 card deck at least or something like that, so it can really shut your opponent down. So you kind of want to see it first turn. That's why you kind of want to go first turn as well. I want to Stereo Party, very good card, sadly not searchable due to its name, and yeah, it's good to trigger effects during your opponent's turn, maybe build up like a little field as well, if you can keep it till your turn, but it's a trap card, you have to discard something, which can be quite neat because you could trigger Hysteric Sign with this, for example. So that's that. You could run Twin Twister in the deck as well if you really want to against certain matchups like Sighted and Twin Twister, so you could maybe discard Hysteric Sign and get like more draws in their opponent's end phase then. For the extra deck, it's basically just like the standard rank 4s. What I would say, what you really need, definitely Tornado Dragon. Baguska can be quite nice, but I feel like these days it doesn't do as much anymore as when it came out. Definitely Ice Beast Zero Fine is one of your biggest playmakers. It seems like a little bit of a weaker version of Harpie's Featherstorm, but still, I think it's kind of neat. Castell or Lightning Chidori, they both work pretty well in the deck, and Exiton Knight can be quite neat because you pop a lot of cards and in the end phase you get all your advantage, so you like kind of stock up in comparison to your opponent, and like that's how you try to outgrind them. And for the extra deck, the important, like the Link monsters, the important cards are like Great Fly, at least once or twice, maybe one pins the Firefighting Daruma Doll, and I guess the standard Nightmares plus 1 Decode Talker if you want to keep it budget. Obviously run Link Force, run the Boral cards if you have them. There's always a use for them in the deck. So me grading the deck, I would say like for the price, it's not stronger than, for example, the Metaphys deck in my opinion. I don't feel like it can shut down your opponent quite well. But other than that, the plays feel kind of linear. You're not doing that much. It's a very good beginner deck though. You can learn how the link mechanic works, get into the XYZ kind of things, and all those kind of stuff, because you don't have a lot of combos that you go off on, and they have to keep track of as well. So I kind of like it. But I would say it's not that strong for the price being that high. Like if you don't really like the theme, or you really like how the deck plays, then I would not recommend getting this deck unless you like really want to or really have the money for it. If you're a budget player, but I really like playing the deck. You'll see some replays. It was kind of hard for me getting them because I ran into a lot of meta shenanigans that I couldn't do much against, and you sometimes break with the deck, so it's harder to get replays for it. But I will definitely upload. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. Let me know what deck you want next. I will look into actually making Layer of Darkness next, so stay tuned. Give it a like, follow, subscribe, whatever, and I hope you have a good day.